I believe in this guy, and I think the Raptors should too. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Raptors. I'm your host, Tisham, my channel where you get reviews, analysis, predictions, and hot takes on all things Raptors as well as some NBA. So, today I'm going to be talking about another player in my series of videos on the players and the Raptors, main players, and reviewing their season that went by. And the guy I'm going to be talking about today is Gary Trent Jr. So without a further ado, let's talk some Gary Trent. So Gary Trent was traded as part of a Norman Powell deal from Portland, which was, in my opinion, a huge steal on the part of Masai Ujiri. This kid is about 22 years of age. He was getting bench production. I mean, he was a bench player technically until somebody got hurt in Portland, and he wasn't really getting the freedom to do everything he needed to do. So last season we made the trade. He came in. He showed flashes of brilliance. He had that buzzer beater against who was it? Washington Wizards, and he only played 17 games, so you can't really count what he did last season. But the progress he showed this season was amazing. I'm very high on Gary Trent Jr., and I'll tell you exactly why. So the positives, if you look at it, he took a step up from his days in Portland, from going from 15 points per game to about, 18.3 points per game, which is 3 points extra, which is very, very good for a young player. It shows progress. The other thing he did well, his offensive game got better because he started to pick out the spots where he's shooting, and he's doing very well. His 3-point percentage is 39%, which is really good. It's almost 40, and his free throw percentage is 86%, which is again very, very good. So offensively, he took a step forward. Would I like to see him be more efficient going forward? Yes, and that's something I'm going to be talking about. But he showed the production that given how many people get the ball in the Raptors, it's a team game for him to be scoring 18 points per game and coming in after OG's, taking over the duties of OG because OG was hurt a lot. He kept us going. He kept our offense going, and which is really, really positive. That's one for him. The second thing where, he surprised the hell out of each and every Raptor fan was on the defensive end. Man, this kid he's a beast on the defensive end when he wants to be. He came in, he's defending full court, he's moving, he's stealing the ball a lot. His steals went up from 0.9 to 1.7. That is a lot of an improvement on the defensive end. And even Nick Nurse said that, he's playing defense like nobody, thought he would be able to play. And he was amazing. He was taking on guards. He was taking on small forwards. Of course, he can't take on power forwards, but he was stealing the balls. He was getting his hands in there. He was active as hell on the defensive end, and that is exactly the type of defense that the Raptors love playing. So that is another positive in his bag there. Now, the third positive I like about him was that he was accepting of the fact that, the Raptors have veterans on the team. And, my opinion of him is that he is our closer. He should be our closer. He has that ability to get it off the dribble, catch and shoot, and he has that shooter's mentality that he does not fear missing the ball. But he didn't get that because we had Freddie, Pascal, OG, all of these guys are they've earned their stripes. So Gary accepted the fact that he might not get those shots, and he did pretty well adjusting to that. He still was productive. He still never let it get to his defense. He had a bad struggling, like he was in a slump for a few weeks. I think it was after the All-Star game, and he didn't let it get to him on the defensive end. He played his ass off, and that is another positive for this kid. He is on the right track. Now we get to the things that he can improve on. As a second guard, something that he needs to really improve on is his court vision. He has the ability to get to the bucket, get to his spots and things like that. But when he does, sometimes the defense collapses on him and he doesn't pass out too often. He ends up taking a bad shot, and I'll get to that. So he needs to learn how to assist the ball a little bit more. 2 assists per game is not really that good, especially when you're playing in a system that moves the ball a lot more. It means that you are not moving the ball. So that is a negative on his play in the last season. And that kind of transitions into his next negative, which is that he ended up taking some dumbass shots this season. Um, he was getting to his spots, but the defenses were reading him and they were contesting the shots, and he still jacked up shots, which led to him being inefficient. So that's something he really, really needs to improve on. Is either he needs to get that ball out there or be more patient with it and be more efficient in his shooting. He's getting to the right spots, but if the shot is not there, then he needs to learn not to take that shot, right? Get to a different spot, get to a second action. And he is not doing those things. So that's something he really needs to improve on. And if he learns to do that, it will open up the floor for him a little bit more. Giving up the ball, getting to the next spot, and getting the ball back type of situation, right? Where you're a little bit more open. Because his 2-point shot is butter, his 3-point shot is butter, man. And this kid is really good in that. Now, the third thing that he can really improve on, in my opinion, is that he needs to be, I wouldn't say aggressive, but be more solid getting to the bucket. He has the ability to get to the bucket, but he doesn't have that finishing ability just yet. He gets to the bucket and he ends up missing or takes a big hit. Yes, he's a skinny kid, but I think he's still better at it. I think he's going to get better. He showed a little bit of better flashes this year of finishing at the basket, but he really needs to get that game going and to be able to get that action going, especially coming off of the 3-point line. People are going to expect him to take that 3-point shot because he's almost a 40% shooter, right? So he needs to learn that when that's happening, get to the bucket and actually finish there rather than just taking the contact or trying to draw a foul. Try to finish. And that's something that he needs to improve on. And that's like a mixed bag, I would say. He's okay at it. He just needs to be a little bit better, right? And if he gets that going, defenses are going to have to worry about him both inside and outside or even in the mid-range. And that's really going to help him increase that 18 points to about 20, 22 points per game. And do I think he's capable of it? Yes. Like I said, I really truly believe in Gary Trent Jr. And I think Nick Nurse needs to put the ball in his hand at the end of the in close games because he has that mentality. He is a killer. He's shown it. And I honestly believe that if we give him that confidence, he will step up to it like he has on the defensive side. And he's up for his contract. He has a player option after this season. Do I think the Raptors should re-sign him? Hell yes. Does that mean giving up somebody like, off of our bench, somebody else? Make that room, Raptors, because you do not want to let this kid go. He is going to be, in my opinion, probably an all-star. He's likely going to be another type Bradley Beal type of player because he is that good. And it's not just on the offensive end. He has shown you that on the defensive end as well. Yes, he has things to improve on, and those are minor things. And as a 22-year-old, you need things to improve on. You are not always perfect, especially when you're that young and you're just, this was your first full season as a starter. So that's something that the Raptors really need to look at. You got to re-sign him. With him, Scotty Barnes, OG moving forward, when Pascal and Freddie are a little bit older, you will have a damn good core around 26, 27 years old. And these guys will be coming into their prime. You don't want to give up on this kid just yet. And he's not going to be more expensive than what he's earning right now, a little bit more. Give it to him. Give it to him and sign him to a long-term deal. So if I had to give Gary Trent Jr. a grade this season, I would give him a B. Honestly, it might seem like a lot, but he stepped up, man. And it's pretty much 70% of that grade is because of what he was able to do on the defensive end. He was a menace. And offensively, he showed strides. He was pretty good. He has areas to improve on, like I said, but as a young guy, you expect that. So a B is good. He's not there at an AA+. He will probably get there once he becomes an all-star, but he has the making of one. So that's what I have for you guys for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you love Gary Trent Jr. or like him as a Raptors fan, please hit that like and subscribe button on my channel. Keep helping the channel grow. And I will see you guys in my next video for the review of another player.